What's up, guys? All right, so this is something that I have been contemplating doing, and I just decided to just go ahead and do it because I've been watching 90 Day Fiance probably since about the second season, and it's just spawned off all of these different spin-offs like 90 Day Fiance The Other Way, 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After, 90 Day Fiance Happily Ever After Strikes Back, and the family Chantel, and all of these different things. And it's interesting. I think some of the things, just like any other reality show, has gotten a bit staged by some of the people who've been on the show, not so much by production. Because I feel like with this show, this is one of the reality shows that I really feel like they want people to be honest. They want people to be real about these situations, because these 90-day spousal visas that the United States allows, it's one of those things that a lot of us who weren't privy to that life even knew about. So learning about it, they want people to be honest for the most part. And excuse me if I clear my throat, it's just I'm not sick. It's just the weather's changing, it's getting colder, and I'm taking a lot of vitamin C. So anyway, whatever. Clearing my throat. But I just decided to talk about the family Chantel because it's been a few episodes already. And this show is a trip. So I just decided let's just talk about it, because I talk about it with some of the clients that I see. And so I just said, hey, let's talk about it here. Let's talk about it on the channel. So I'm just going to start from the beginning and catch us up to where we are. And this is not going to be reviews. I'm not going to do reviews of the show. We're just going to talk about some of the things that happen on the episodes. Okay, so if you are not familiar with the family Chantel, how it started was Chantel, she's from Atlanta, Georgia. She was one of the participants in the 90-day spousal visa program, and she was in the Dominican Republic. She met this guy, Pedro. They fell in love. She was teaching him maybe a little bit of English just on the side, but she really was there to learn Spanish, and he taught her a few other things, and then they wound up getting into a relationship. She wanted to bring him back to the States. She brought him back on a spousal visa, but she lied to her parents, and she told her parents that it was for other purposes, knowing all the time that they had to get married or he was going to have to go back to the Dominican Republic. And she told her parents at the last minute. So her parents were really not on board with it, but they decided to support their daughter. Her sister and brother, both younger than her, they also weren't really on board with it. Her brother, even more so, River is his name. He was really not on board with it, but he really just wanted to support his sister because he loved his sister. And Chantel's family wanted Pedro to sign a prenuptial agreement because they were like, hey, if you're not here for any other alternative motives and purposes, then you shouldn't have any problem signing a prenuptial agreement. And when Pedro talked to his mom and sister about it, they called her family stupid Americans. And the mom was like, why would you do that? They don't have anything we want. But they did have Pedro sign something that they made up. And then they got married, and then the tensions were back and forth with the family because of the things that happened before they got married. So it's just been a lot. They've had even physical fights because River, Chantel's brother, got into a fight with Pedro at her parents' house. Came over for dinner. Pedro's sister was visiting at the time, and it was just crazy. Okay, so bringing it up to where we are now. Now, there's been an older brother that we didn't even know existed that has been introduced to this show because the family Chantel is following where we are now with Chantel and her husband and the family, her family more so, getting along better. But also Pedro's sister, I believe her name is Nicole, and I don't know why I'm forgetting her name at the moment, but I believe her name is Nicole. She's dating a guy in New York who happens to still be married. So Nicole's family, her mom, her friends, they don't think it's a good idea. At this point where we are in the episodes where we are, her mom does not know that her boyfriend is still married, but her friends know at this point. But she just feels like it's just a piece of paper. It's not a big deal. He's not in love with his wife anymore. He's trying to get a divorce. But it seems kind of shady because this guy is saying that he came to the United States on a spousal visa and got married, but he said we really didn't know each other very well, and so we just kind of grew apart. So it sounds like he used this person to get into the States. That's what it sounds like. We haven't seen this person yet. We don't know much about her. All we know is what he shared about this chick so far, right? So, all right, so the boyfriend, he flies to the Dominican Republic to spend some time with Nicole on holiday, and she also wants to introduce him to her mom. Okay, she already knows how her mom is, all right? She decides that she's going to not only bring her boyfriend over to her mom's house, which is where she lives also, to meet her mom, but also that he was going to stay there. Now, that's the thing that made me like, are you kidding right now? Like, are you really serious, Nicole? You actually think, even though you're not 16 or 17 years old, you're still living with your mom, and you think it's okay for this guy who your mom never met. You know how your mom is, you know how strict she is, and nobody's really good enough for her children because she felt like Chantel was not good enough for Pedro, even though Pedro is becoming a citizen in the United States because of Chantel, and they eventually want to become United States citizens. They want to come to the US also. So yeah, Chantel is a little bit too good for you all. She might not be too good for Pedro, but yeah, she's too good for you all. But anyway, Nicole thought it was okay to bring her boyfriend over and say that, yeah, he's going to stay here. So Nicole's mom kicked both of them out of the house along with his luggage, broke some things, like some things dropped out of his bag. And so they had to go and stay at one of her friend's house who just happened to be out of town at the time, which I thought was, how convenient, right? But yeah, she's staying with the guy over at her friend's house instead of going to a hotel or something like that, or Airbnb. I don't know. Well, introducing Chantel's older brother. He is, his name is Royal. He is married already. He met someone online, go figure, who's from the Philippines, and her name is Angenette. She seems like an okay person. You never really know the motives of somebody, especially when they're coming from another country to connect and get in a relationship with somebody who's in the States. But the guy, Royal, he seems really controlling. Now, on the first episode, when we meet Royal and Angenette, Chantel wants to have a girls' night out with some friends, her sister, and her new sister-in-law, Angenette. Of course, Chantel, because this is the type of person she is, she likes to drink, she likes to party, she likes to go to the club. So they went to the club. She was wearing her hoochie mama, freakum dress, and they were having, to her, a good time getting drinks. And it was a little bit too much for Angenette because she started getting a little tipsy. And then as Chantel is like twerking it up, her brother Royal walks in, and he was like, what the F? I mean, I was embarrassed for Chantel, because it's like, who wants their brother to see you like twerking it up like that? But anyway, he came in there to swoop Angenette out of there. And so Chantel, who's tipsy at this time, she storms out of the club to go after him and to just, say like, why are you taking her away? Like, why are you being so controlling? And then, he was like, well, she's a married woman, and I don't think this is a place for a married woman. And like, is it okay with Pedro for you to be in the club like you are right now? And anyway, Chantel was just like, whatever. And then she started to question, like, well, why doesn't Royal really trust Angenette? Something must have happened. And, at the time I was like, well, I mean, he's here visiting. His wife is from another country. She doesn't really know anybody here. He's probably just looking out for her. And yeah, probably being a little bit overbearing, but also that's just like, one of those things. Because they say, I'm just saying, they say that a lot of times when men choose women from countries such as, countries overseas, they feel like they do it because the women are a little bit more docile and they can be a little bit more controlling, with them versus, a woman from the States. That's a thing that they say. I am not saying that's what it is, but I'm saying that's something that they say. But anyway, just kind of going up to where we are now. This most recent episode, Royal and Angenette, they're going to have another wedding in the Philippines. She wants to have a wedding where her friends and family can attend because they're already married. So they're already legally married. They're not trying to get married. But similar to Chantel marrying Pedro, he got with Angenette and brought her to the States, and it was on a 90-day spousal visa. So they had to get married in 90 days or she was going to have to go back to the Philippines. Well, some things have been revealed before they went to the Philippines when Chantel and her mom met with Angenette at a bridal store to try on wedding dresses. They started fishing for information. So they started asking her questions. And, Angenette was getting a little bit uncomfortable. So outside of the bridal store, she was talking with the cameraman and the producer. And she started saying that Royal wasn't very nice to her sometimes and that she had actually miscarried. She was pregnant, had a miscarriage, and Royal accused her of being with someone else. And she started crying, and I felt bad for her. I mean, I know sometimes stuff like that happens, and they do say sometimes that when these women are looking for an opportunity to come to the United States, they're like weighing all of their different options. They're not just like talking to one person. They're talking to several people to figure out who's going to be the best bet, who's going to be the grand prize, that's going to be, my best option. So she said she felt very uncomfortable. He was not nice to her. He was very mean. And at that time, that was the previous episode, I felt like she was being honest. And I mean, she, like, even the producer was like, do you want to talk more? And she said, yeah, but I don't want to talk on camera. So I really, at that time, I felt like something's going on. And I feel like she's trying to protect her husband and his image, but she is uncomfortable in some way and something's up. Okay. So circling up to where we are now with the most recent episode, Chantel and the family, they went over to the Philippines. Now they're in the Philippines. Angenette, she seems a little bit more open. She's talking, she's meeting her friends. And now she's sharing some stuff about Royal. And when she was meeting with her friends, she was talking with her friends about how Royal sometimes is mean. He speaks to her in, disrespectful ways, and how he accused her of having a boyfriend in the Philippines and talking with other people. And her friends really felt for her. and they wanted to protect her. So when they met up with Royal and Chantel and River and Winter, who's the other sister, and Angenette and Angenette's friends, they had some drinks, had some shots, and so now things are starting to flow. So Angenette, she started sharing some things about Royal to Royal's family in front of her friends, because she had already shared things to her friends, and her friends started asking questions. Okay, so Royal's sitting there. He's got like a kind of an uncomfortable smile on his face, but you could tell that he was kind of getting pissed, and he was trying to keep his composure and his cool, because it's like, I got these cameras on me. I got Angenette's friends, asking me questions. I'm really trying to keep my composure, but I'm about to snap. I could see it. Well, the more questions started to come, and the more Angenette was like, no. Like, she pretty much was saying, like, don't try to back out of it now or say you don't want to talk about it now. I'm not like, no, let's put it on the table right now. And he didn't really want to do it. So Chantel was like, come on, let's just go. Let's get some fresh air. Let's go outside. And so they go outside. And of course, like reality shows do, the camera is going to follow. The producers are going to be there. They want the interactions. They want the action to be on camera. Royal didn't want it. So Royal, who comes across as this very quiet, docile, easygoing kind of guy, he snapped. He like literally snapped. And I mean, at first he just kind of held his hand up in front of the camera, like, don't come for me, like that type of thing. And they're going to follow you. That's what they're going to do. And he was like wanting to choke somebody out. And I said, okay, there's the person. That's the person that Angenette has been saying he is when nobody else is around. And that's what I was picking up from her, because here's the thing. And everybody's different. Everybody is different. Not everybody wants to come to the United States. Not everybody does. That is in another country. And not everybody who is hooking up or getting into a relationship and winds up getting married to somebody who is in the United States is doing it just because they want a green card. Because when she was in the Philippines, she was saying, I just want to come back here. And I've watched other 90-day fiance couples that felt the same way. They were like, I don't even want to be in the United States. I want to stay in South Africa. I want to go back to Brazil. Like I've seen it. And it's true. Not everybody is looking for a way out of other countries and wanting to come to the United States. The place of the American dream. It's not everybody's desire and dream to come here. Now, while I will say sometimes it's a bit sketchy when you just send somebody a friend request on Facebook and then you wind up, you're in different countries and you wind up getting into a relationship and getting married, because that's what several of them have done before. It can work out. Stranger things have happened. But I just wanted to talk about it because when I was watching this latest episode, I said, okay, there's the person that Angenette has been trying to share with us that he is when nobody else is around, but who he showed himself to be in the episodes up until that very moment. That's not what he was showing us. So of course that's where it ends. That's where the episode ends. So we will see what happens next week. But I really wanted to talk about it. And I had been thinking about talking about this show. So I just decided just go ahead and do it, guys. So I really want to know what you think. If you're watching the family Chantel and you've watched them before, you've watched their journey on 90 Day Fiance and the other little spin-offs that they've had. Let me know your thoughts on this crazy situation and with this family. Let me know your thoughts on Angenette and Royal and also on Pedro's sister and the relationship that she's currently in with the married guy in New York, who I kind of find are it's kind of funny, because when she was talking with her friends about this guy before, they were just like, he sounds like a loser. He works at a cell phone store. Oh my God. That was kind of mean, but hey, I don't know. I guess even, over there they have their standards. So you guys let me know your thoughts about this in the comment section. And until the next episode, this is the Minister of Beauty, here to share the Bible. That's business, inspiration, beauty, life, and enjoyment. And we will see you on the next video.